Hello and welcome to Knowledge by Nature. In today's video, we're looking at the newest release from Schoolnest. Now, Megan has really outdone herself this year in the fact that she is actually making handmade versions now that have a spiral going down the side. So if you want one of those, you need to go to her actual shop and order it. This one came from Amazon. And as much as I would love to have a handmade one from Megan, I am a huge fan of the book binding, and that is just not something she's offering right now. So I went ahead and I ordered from Amazon again. I don't know. I'm kind of wishing maybe I would have, because the inside, the quality, I know it's just going to be so much better than what we can get from Amazon. And certainly the way that it's shipped, Amazon ships their book things and their planners in little soft packages. And so you can imagine going through the post office, it's going to get bends. And so there's like a little bendy thing going right here. I'm sure you can't see it so much, but I can see it. I can feel it. But anyways, the cover is beautiful. Depending on the light, it pulls a pink tone. And so I put these on my Instagram pages, kind of showing how different lighting picks up different coloring. So sometimes it has like this very pinky, peachy color, and then other times it has like a tan coloring. So honestly, it's what kind of lighting you're in, what the background that it's laying on. It definitely kind of looks differently. As far as the feel of the cover, I feel that it is the same as last year and the previous years. It feels that same kind of like velvety color, but yes, it's so pretty. So funny thing, I actually recorded this yesterday, and I had not looked in advance to know what anything was on the inside, so you were gonna get my full like first impression sort of thing. That video did not work out well, so I couldn't get it uploaded, so I'm having to redo it. So I have seen inside of it. I have already done a pen test, but either way, here we go. I just wish you could have got like my first impression sort of thing of opening it and seeing all of the different things. Now, last year I used my weekly planning, not the actual lesson planner. So going from that back to the minimalist, I already have like some adjustments that I'm going to have to be doing again. But the previous 2 years before this year, I was using the minimalist. So there are still some changes. Really quickly, this is what I'm talking about. The book bindings, how beautiful is that? When these are sitting on my shelf, I just love it. It is so pretty. But really quickly, I did just want to mention, so if you watched my video on this one, if you order this planner right here from Amazon, it is going to have the same interior that video shows. Same thing with this one. If you order this from Amazon, it is going to have the same interior. Now you need to make sure that it says lesson planning, minimalist notebook. It needs to say exactly this. But if it says that, it's going to have the same interior that this video had. This one, and you'll need to watch out because the OG, the very original one that she did, had this beautiful cover. It is much different from all of the rest of them. So you need to make sure that if you want this weekly planning notebook, that you have it say weekly planning notebook. It's not going to say homeschool on it. So there's a big difference as far as making sure whether it says homeschool or weekly on it. But this one I really liked actually, and it has the 8 columns going across it. I love it, but there's not a weekly plan before it. It's only like a month plan and then 3 or 4 weeks. I think it's 4. This has worked really well, but this isn't really a comparison video, but I did just want to mention that really quick on these right here. If you want something and you really like the interior of this one, then you can still get the interior of that one. Or if you like this one, you can still get these from Amazon. So that's the nice thing. If you see these covers and you're like, okay, I like the cover, I like that, you're gonna know that if you like this cover, that's what the interior is going to look like. So this is our homeschool lesson planning minimalist notebook. And in case I haven't mentioned it, I am not affiliated, I'm not sponsored, anything like that. I just love Schoolnest notebooks. They work so wonderful. All right, here we go. We've got plan and journal. This is 12-month, 52-week undated. So you can literally start this whenever you want. You do not have to wait until a certain time. It is undated. You fill it in. Here is our first opening page where we have our little cover page, and then we come to the table of contents here. So inside here, she's done a cute little welcome with the heart sign. She's updated her logo just a little bit this year. And then for our introductory pages, we have a vision board, 2 note pages, 1-year calendar, events and field trips, 2 vertical trackers, 6 horizontal progress, 6 horizontal 1-month progress, 16 list, 4 book list pages, which a total of 8 lists. Then we come to the planning and journaling section, which is 12 undated monthly calendars, and those are all up front. If you like them mixed in the middle, you might want to look at this weekly planning. So if you want like a month and then the week, month, then the weeks, you want to look at this version right here. If you're okay with all of your months being up in the front, that's pretty much any other planner that she has offered. 12-month planning or reflection pages, 52 weekly overview, and then we have our 52 weeks of planning grids, and then 4 end of the year reflection pages. So each year the font is just a little bit different. This one has the white paper, where the nature series had like a cream paper. So you can see a slight difference there. So this was the cream paper, this is white. Now something that I am noticing this year is I feel like the shadowing of the actual print is pretty hardcore on this paper. So I don't know if it's just a lot thinner, if the ink is just a little bit different, but I do feel like there is a lot of shadowing of what is actually printed on this one. That unfortunately is completely out of Megan's hands because Amazon just chooses what they want to use. If you are a stickler for paper quality, you're gonna wanna order directly from her. And then you've got the spiral bound instead of the book bound. We have our vision board, which is this really pretty like cursive writing across there, and then otherwise it's just a nice big blank page. After that, we have 2 notes pages, and we have this super duper minimal notes right there. Super small. You could easily cover that up if you didn't want to see the notes, but you can see a lot of the shadowing here from the next page. And so these are our calendars. Again, working with that whole use it whenever you want to start it. So these are all blank, and you can decide where you want your homeschool year to begin and fill it out. I love this page for our field trips and stuff, so you can put your month up at the top and then what field trip or event that you went through. I absolutely love these 2 pages, and I always think that I'm not really going to reference this page very much, but I actually do. I reference it a lot. So I'm always surprised. Every time I create one, I'm like, oh, this is a waste of time. I'm not even gonna reference it. And then I do a lot. Next page is our daily tracker. And here is 2 pages of this. So let's say you need to track your school days. Not every state has to do that. I am one of them that do have to track my days. And so if you have 2 children, maybe one of them might be slightly off from the other one, so you could have them going on different days. If not, if you don't need 2 of them, you can always paste something over this and make it really pretty. I've done the daily trackers multiple ways. This year, how I used it is I put all the months, and then I colored in all of my little boxes, and I put totals down at the bottom. I didn't actually number them. Now in the past, before that, when I was using the minimalist here, I actually numbered every single day, and I prefer that. I like to see right away that this was day 89. That is my preference. So for this year, I will be moving back over into this where I'm actually numbering them, but I think I will color them also like I did with this, because I enjoy the like colorful tracker, but I also like to see immediately what the number is. If you don't need this, if you don't need to track your days or anything, I don't know what else you could use it for. You could just be like a daily reading tracker, something like that. You could decide what you wanted to track, but there's also these progress trackers. So again, you could track your curriculum here. So let's say you are using Dimensions Math. There are 172 lessons, and so you would mark them off. Now, I'm going to be honest, I never use these. I have filled them out before, but I do not use them. It is just not something that I have found to be useful for me, or that I just put enough effort into to keep up with. Yes, I'm sure it would be cool to see like, oh, I only have a few more lessons, but in reality, I can also see that from my books. But I can see that there would be different curriculums or multiple children, things going involved. This could be really, really helpful. So you have one page where it goes to 180, and then she provides these that are completely blank, and you can number them however you want. So that's really neat, especially if you wanted to progress, daily activities or reading or days that we did art. That could be really fun to see like, hey, it doesn't feel like we do much nature, but then you write it all down and you're like, whoa, we actually did. So you could use that. However, again, I tend to think I probably still won't use it just because that's not me. All right, up next we have our list and plans. And very, very minimally, again, she has added this very small print across the top that says organize a list of seasonal studies, curriculum by subject, activities each quarter, etc. So I do use this, and so what I will do is I will put math, and then I will write all the curriculum down that we are using for math for that year. Language arts, write all that down. Science, write it all down. History, write it all down. Extracurriculars, I'll write it all down. And then as the year goes, maybe I add something else in there and I add that in there. Or maybe we finish a book and I add the next thing in. Things change, so you can go through and you can write those things down. I love this because this is really my record keeping also. Everything that we use throughout the year gets listed here. And so that is really helpful. And she gives us 2 pages of that, so 4 altogether. Up next is our book list. I love the little image that she's got going along the bottom. And on the very, very bottom here, that last little book, it says Schoolnest. So cute. So yes, I will definitely color this and make it really pretty, just so it's nice and pleasant. Most of the time what I will do is I will save one of these for like our read alouds, and I'll write all of our read alouds down. The other section will be independent reads, and we actually have 2 pages of that also. So list gives you quite a bit of space to write down some books. Now we are coming to the month section, and this is a very, very pared down compared to what it has been ever before. She is really leaving this open for you to design. She's not added any extra designs. The nature one, oh my goodness, probably one of my favorites as far as there's just so many little details and stuff on that. So I will definitely have to add some splash of color in here because it is very, very minimal in here. Now, before she kind of had these circles very faintly, and I mean really, really lightly, there is a box that you could put the date in, and then you have the grid. You could easily just put however, you could put a giant 12 or whatever in there because these boxes are super, super light. Right up here, there's a very, very faint line, and I honestly wasn't sure if that was like shadowing from the previous page, but it's not. It's intentional. It's a little swirled line that you can write the month there, and then your first month is number 1, and there's this big, giant 1 here. So I had to get this recorded because I am itching to color this thing up because it is so, so minimal. Our next page following month 1 is a plan and reflect, and this is pretty cool. There's 31. So this page right here, I don't know what I'm going to do with this yet. So we have plan and reflect, and you have one column going from 1 to 31 all the way down. Again, put a piece of washi tape over this. It's gone if you don't like it. So what she has added is so minimal, it can easily be covered up. So if you weren't liking what was on the page, you can cover it up really easily. So if you don't like this, cover it up. I feel like you could like write on here certain events that were going, like maybe you have an art show here or a Girl Scout event or whatever, a museum trip. You could kind of add this in. I don't know. This will be interesting. I'll have to look to see like kind of what she is doing with maybe some of her examples on that, but that's interesting. So you have your plan and reflect that follows month 1. Then this is just going to follow the same process for all 12. So you see number 2, blank month, we go to our plan and reflect. Number 3, month, plan and reflect. So let's get past all of these to the actual weekly. All right, I'm trying to like work this spine out really good too, so it'll start laying flatter as I work with it. So there was month 12, and we jump over into, give that a nice little massage there. This makes me think of one year at Arlene and Company. She like banged the, she knocked the spine out for sure. But I'm just giving it a nice, good massage here. But we have our weekly overview. You can see, I feel like the font is quite a bit different than we've seen before. These, I feel in the past would have had like some black blocking around them or something, but it's super duper minimal. It really is really low key here. So not a lot going on. We just have this over here and very, very lightly. Again, all of these lines are so light that you don't have to follow this diagram. But right across here, you could be like Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. However you wanted, you could, there's like a small section you could label before it goes to the grid lines. And hopefully you can see that. I mean, it is really, really faint. Along the bottom, we have our week number going along this page now. And our cute little snail living over here in the corner. I love that. So whatever week you're on, you can circle it, highlight it, whatever you want to do. And then lots of blank space before we have a daily tracker. Looking at this daily tracker, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 things that you could track for that day. So it could be like a read aloud or getting outside, violin, whatever you wanted to do, chores. Did they do their chore that day? Click it off. However you wanted to do it. It's just a very small section over here. I feel like it's about the size of like a credit card that is taking up that space right there. So not super huge, lots of space. And then we get to the actual week. Again, you can see there's no like black lines going across here. Very, very minimal. And I know I keep saying minimal, but it is. It's just, I'm really surprised at the lack of extra on there. So it's just a little bit different. So we have our weekly plan here right along the top. On the top, we have our weekly plan with our months. So you could circle whatever month this was. The next page is 1 through 31. So you could circle the week that you were dealing with. And then she has already put, then over here, she's already put the year in a box. So it's like 20, and then you put the rest over there. Again, you could washi over that. If you didn't like it, put a sticker over it, whatever. If you didn't like that section right there, because everything else is kind of blank. You can make your own design here. Now this, when you order from Amazon, you are getting the 6 by 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 by 6 grid. This one had the 8. You can, when you order it directly from her, choose to get the 7. And so it's 7 with a note thing along the side. I think that would be fantastic. I would love that. But here we have our 6, so you can decide whether you want to go curriculum across the top and weeks along the side, or weeks along the top and curriculum across the bottom, or you could switch it up week by week because it's blank. You can decide what to do. Little bitty checks along the way and super duper dotted grid section there. Then this is going to follow. So you're going to have your weekly overview and your weekly plan. Weekly overview, weekly plan, and it's going to go for 52 weeks like that. Let's go to the very back here. All right, once we get to the very last one, you get a reflect on the year. Again, it's just super, super light right there. So you can decide, doesn't take up a lot of space, what you want to do with that. So you can journal, memory keep, however you want to on this one. And then you get 4 of those pages blank like that. Now here on the back is where we have our last page where she says, thank you for purchasing a Schoolnest notebook. And you can see I have already done some testing here because my previous recording did not work out so well. So this pen right here, this section right here that says Schoolnest was this little uni pen right here. It does shadow over pretty hard. So if you look right here, you can see it. So I don't know that I will use this pen much with this paper. I'm not for sure if this paper is the same as I had in the past. Here we have this is just a Hobonichi pen. That's what this is right here. I didn't feel like we had very much shadowing with that. I mean, it is there if you look really, really closely, but not bad at all. So if you're just using a normal pen, here was just like a pen that you might get at a hotel. That's what this darker one is right here in the middle. That's what that one was. Very, very little. So if you're just using a normal pen, this was another. This is probably like what, a Bic one or something. It doesn't actually say that, but that's what all of those were. They're just really not showing up much there. So if you just use a normal pen, you're going to be good to go. There's not going to be a whole lot of shadowing. This is shadowing way harder, the actual like ink that was printed, than any of these options right here. Now, I use my mild liners all the time in my Schoolnest notebook, and I used my darkest like burnt orange right here. So this burnt orange is what this little slash was, and I outlined the heart. Then I used my lighter green color here, colored in the heart, and did another little slash there. And you can see that it shadowed pretty hard with the orange color, but the green honestly didn't show up too much. It's there, but not much. And then you can see right there, and honestly, I didn't expect this one to pass at all. That is actually a little pen marker out of this. It's a retractable marker that I tested. I didn't expect this to pass, and it did. This wouldn't be, I wouldn't call that shadowing. It was plumb on bleed through on this section right here. So all of this other I would call shadowing, but the actual marker, it didn't go through. But that, it did go through. But that is not surprising. I didn't expect it to pass, but I wanted to see it nonetheless. I cannot get that little booger in there. But most of the mild liners are going to go good. Like this is a lighter set too. They're just, I actually love this set. Does it say? I don't know for sure what color this is, but it's all these like muted naturey colors. And just if you want to see just a few more. So I've used these two. So let's look. Here's like a darker gray. So we'll put a line across that. And then these are dual tipped, you know, so you could do like some dots, which we might all be doing some dots if we're marking those off. So let's see what that looks like. The straight line shadows pretty hard. The little dots do shadow some, but not too bad. So if you use a lighter pen, if you use a lighter color, you're obviously going to have a whole lot lighter shadowing. So this is like a super light one. So I would not expect to see hardly anything from that one. And you don't see it at all. So not too bad on the lighter mild liners at all. And then you have one blank page and then pretty much one more blank page with the information here. And so this looks like it was done in Illinois. It would be interesting to see what the paper quality is depending on where the printer was done at, because I do not feel like this white paper did as much shadowing as this one does, but I think it's going to be okay. There's a few pages that I'll probably put something on top of so that I don't see it quite so bad, but maybe once I get everything, it'll be really interesting to see what the shadowing looks like here. By the time I do everything with this one, I'm going to have to stay light, or how much of this space is going to be very like usable. So it'll be interesting to see, but otherwise, another beautiful Schoolnest notebook. Again, this is the one that you can get from Amazon with the book binding, and this is the 2025 version, and it's so cute. It's like little paper cutouts. So if you have any questions or comments, please put them down below. The other notebooks, I will try to remember to list down in the description. So if you want to see any flip throughs of these, I will put them down in the description. So if you're shopping for your next planner, I have some videos for you. I'll see you in my next one. Bye.